In 2025, we're gonna talk about all of the different costs that customers are seeing when remodeling a kitchen or even renovating their house in general. You know, the number one thing that I get asked is, what is my project gonna cost? So when you think about it and you break it down in each individual term, we're gonna break everything out by the trades, in the scope of work. We're in Newport, Rhode Island, and I'm gonna break down the cost of this kitchen right behind me. Our client invested almost $100,000 into this project. I'm gonna go through each individual layer and I'm gonna tell you why. First and foremost, we started with a kitchen design. Before we renovated this kitchen, I met with our clients and we talked about the scope of the project, what her initial budget was, and then we started designing around that budget. I met with my client and we started talking about this project that we're in right now. We're actually almost done with this. We just have to get it a final clean and a few little adjustments, and we're gonna turn it over by the end of this week. Before we do that, I wanted to share with you guys what we did here. Like I said, day one, I met with my client and we came in and we started talking about how we can fix her space. Now, to be frank with you guys, there wasn't much that we changed. The biggest add-on was this pantry cabinet at the end of this run of cabinets here. And then we modified the island to give it definitely more seating and more storage. And we gave it this beautiful green look with that contrast with the white. After a really in-depth conversation with my client, it really came down to storage and functionality for her. We kept this little nook over here where you see this cute little light. This is gonna be her little dining nook. And then what we did is we added this tall pantry cabinet to kind of end the kitchen, separating that from the dining nook, giving it an established line, right? This pantry, as you can see, we're 2 knobs short. Those are coming in the mail soon. This pantry adds just a ton of storage that you can use for dry goods, you can use for your pantry items as far as your cooking supplies and everything else that belongs in here. And guys, a nice little add-on that we didn't include because of budget concerns were pullouts. So originally when we designed this kitchen, it came in just over $100,000. But to save some cost, we removed the pullouts, we removed a couple of drawer-based cabinets, and we made some small modifications. So let me take you a spin through this whole kitchen. We're gonna break down every cabinet, why it's placed where it's placed, and then we'll talk about some more costs after that. As you can see here, we have a 3-drawer base. So you get the 2 deep ones on the bottom and the nice shallow one at the top. This is perfect for silverware, utensils, anything like that. And then as you open up, you have this nice deep drawer base for additional storage. Now, because these are so expensive, we actually swapped out, we had 4 of these in the entire kitchen. We swapped out these 2 for standard 30-inch base cabinets. When you're talking about a standard base cabinet, you're gonna get a drawer on top, and you're gonna get 2 doors underneath with an adjustable shelf. Guys, that's a lot of storage, right? But you're not getting the functionality of the drawer. So you're still gonna have to get down there and reach back there. So if budget's a concern, opt for base cabinets that are standard versus the drawer bases, but still try to get at least 1 or 2 in here. As you can see, we fit 2. We staggered them a little bit so that you had more functionality there. And we kept it near the stove so you had your utensils nearby. One really cool feature that I think you need in every single kitchen, you've seen us do it many, many times, trash can pull out. This keeps everything clean, keeps the smell inside, and it keeps it just organized for when you're having guests nearby. We opted to put it in the island because this is gonna be her main prep area. She's gonna be cutting and cleaning all of her vegetables and meats and everything else like that. And then at the end of it, you can scoop it right into the trash. I thought that was a really nice function to the entire design here. One other thing that we did to save money, this was supposed to be a pull-out. It was gonna be a utensil pull-out. It's gonna store all of your spoons, your spatulas. Getting that, I mean, for me personally, I have something on my counter that holds everything. Some people like to keep it in their drawer. The pull-out's a great option, but because it was so expensive for this budget, we decided to go with just a standard base cabinet. Again, you open it up and you're gonna have 2 adjustable shelves inside, plenty of storage, and plenty of functionality for what you need. Guys, let's talk about the corner cabinet. You get a couple different options, right? You're gonna have a Lazy Susan where you have the inside that rotates, giving you access to all the parts and pieces that are back there. You're gonna also have the option to have a blind corner where you're gonna have a filler on one side and you can reach back there. It's called a deep reach, I believe. Those do come with pull-outs for an upgraded feature. Or what we did here to save some money, just a standard base corner cabinet. It's gonna be, you know, a little awkward to reach back there, but there's a ton of storage. You don't get things that fall off your carousel. You don't have to worry about parts and pieces to fail on you in the future. So this is a real safe option and it's cost effective. Now let's talk about some of the uppers before we continue to the sink base. So what you're seeing here are just nice, big, open upper cabinets. These come 12 inches deep. You're gonna get the adjustable shelves inside it. There's no special features on these at all. As you can see with Fabuwood, we're able to get a nice big 36-inch upper. It's 36 by 36, giving you a ton of upper storage for all of your glasses, your plates, anything that you really want to store up here. So again, we started with the pantry. You get some uppers, you get some lowers, and then we're here at the microwave. You get a couple different options for your exhaust hood, right? You can definitely go with a cabinet style exhaust. You can go with a metal exhaust, or you can go with the microwave above the range. Now, our client opted for this because she really did not want her microwave in the island or in a lower cabinet or on the countertop. So she was actually very happy with this look. She's seen it for years. She's lived with it for many years. But we upgraded with a new GE profile above the range exhaust. And the benefit of this thing is it goes straight out the exterior. So it's got awesome extraction power. I think it goes up to 400 CFMs. If you go over 400 CFM, make sure you check with your local building official to see if it's required to add makeup air. Here where we're at right now, this is 400 or less. It's actually rated at 400, so we don't have to worry about makeup air. As you turn the corner, you're gonna have a couple other smaller cabinets. This is gonna be great for tray dividers, and this is going to be great for spices. And then you get your nice deep corner cabinet, again with some adjustable shelves. It always gets a little awkward in the top upper corner, but I recommend making sure that you adjust your shelves to the appropriate heights that fit your needs and storing things that you don't typically use all the time up top. A couple of our last upper cabinets, guys, is going to be another standard upper right next to the sink, and then your upper above the fridge. I always go with a full depth. Even if you don't need the whole full depth, it's plenty of storage for extra appliances and things that you just don't think of. Now, I'm gonna point out a couple things now early on in the video so you guys don't beat me up in the comments. We're not 100% done here. We still have to add a filler here. Because the floors are so off level, our dishwasher is actually really low, so we're gonna add a small filler here to keep it clean and finished. And then as you know, I'm missing a few knobs. So we're in the process of finishing this kitchen. We're gonna turn it over by the end of the week. But before we do that, we're gonna dive deeper into this video, and I'm gonna tell you exactly what every single trade costs. So if you found value so far, make sure you hit that subscribe button and follow along for more details. All right, so I promised you in the beginning, I'm gonna break down all of the costs. I brought the proposal with me, and we're gonna go line by line. I'm gonna tell you exactly what we spent on this kitchen. So starting it all off with the design and all the pre-construction work that we have to put into this thing, including project management, which means that we have a dedicated project manager that's gonna keep the schedule, the budget, and all trade partners in check and in line. We also included building permits, dumpster rental, and demolition. All of that is part of our pre-construction work. So we're looking at a $10,000 investment just for pre-construction work, which is all of the management, the demolition, all the parts and pieces you need to really start putting this thing back together. After pre-construction, you got demo completed. Let's talk about the rough structures. Guys, it's gonna include all of your plumbing fixtures from your faucet to your disposal. It's gonna include the plumbing labor that's going into this thing, the electrical labor, and all of the duct work that we have to run for the exhaust. So trade by trade, we paid our plumber $6,280 to go through and swap out the gas line, install the dishwasher, install the disposal, the ice maker, and the sink. Guys, it's also removing all of the existing plumbing and reworking it all. Includes the rough and the finish work. Outside of that, we had the electrical next. So electrical and plumbing are gonna be the biggest price ticket items when you're talking trade partners. In the electrical scope of work, we had to go through and we actually modified the entire layout here with the overhead lights. We added this beautiful chandelier as well as the one hanging over the dining area. A couple other cool things that we did here is we added these under cab outlets. We added under cab lighting, and we went through and replaced all of the circuits. Guys, in Rhode Island specifically, it requires 2 dedicated circuits when you're doing a kitchen. So we had to run 2 dedicated circuits just for the outlets, and we had to keep those arc faulted. Now, when you're talking the appliances, those are individual circuits as well. So this kitchen took a total of 7 circuits. Pretty nuts, but it's what you need in 2025. The last thing that we did here in the rough structures is we ran ductwork for our hood right behind us. This microwave is a vented hood. It doubles as a hood and a microwave. We ran the ductwork straight outside, finished off the exterior with a nice trim plate and an exhaust flap. Doing all of that allows for this cooking experience to be elevated, so you're not living in that smoke and that grease. And not for nothing, it is building code to have either a vented hood or a recirculating hood. Okay, now that we got all the utilities ran and all the rough fixtures are set, we're gonna talk about the finish trades. So we start finishing this thing off by insulating your exterior walls, drywalling it, And then we're gonna come in and we're gonna actually finish our hardwood floors, which is part of this project. We're gonna install all of our cabinets. So we're talking the cabinet cost and the installation for carpentry. We're gonna talk about countertops and backsplash as well. The last thing to finish off the finishing portion of this project is gonna be painting. So breaking it down trade by trade, we spent $1,200 to insulate the exterior walls. We spent $2,000 to install drywall, get it ready for paint. And then we spent $5,500 to refinish all of these hardwood floors. Guys, we did this as a full project here. So this kitchen, living room, dining room is all one big room. Because we removed the cabinets, we had to sand, stain, and refinish this whole area. And then we added another room upstairs as well. So part of the finishing trades is gonna include the cabinetry and the cabinetry hardware. This cabinet package cost just over $20,000. And we carried around $700 just for the hardware. Guys, you don't have to spend that much on your hardware, right? You can buy this stuff from Home Depot for $4 or $5 a piece, or you can elevate the look and find something that's a little more substantial that'll last the test of time when you're pulling your doors open and closed. I think we budgeted somewhere around $8, $9 for these knobs, and we get them from Top Knobs. Awesome vendor if you haven't checked them out. So we went over a few of the big ticket items. We've got 1 or 2 left, right? The countertops is another big ticket item. We're gonna give them a $7,500 budget for these countertops, and we came well within that budget. I think it was, I think we're about $100 or $200 off from there. So we're gonna issue a small credit on that. And then we're talking the labor to install the cabinets behind me, right? So we have the island, we have all these uppers, we got the crown molding, and then we have to finish off with the side panels, the baseboard. There's a lot that goes into that kitchen. Right, so when you're thinking of full install, this kitchen that we're standing in, we charged $6,875 to fully install it. And that includes accepting the cabinets, unpacking them, and making sure that this whole kitchen is adjusted and finalized before we turn it over. So just a few more numbers to cover, guys. Stay with me because we're almost there, right? So behind me, you see this beautiful backsplash. We installed that for $3,600 and it took us about $1,000 in materials to get that ready. So the final part of our labor budget is painting. Guys, we came in here and we gave this ceiling a fresh coat of white. If you saw it before, it was really it was brown, it was dark. The cabinets were dark, the countertop was dark. This whole place felt closed in. So now with a fresh coat of paint, it just feels so much better and brighter in here. So we broke down what all of the trades cost, what it takes to remodel this kitchen cost-wise. The last few things that we added in here were a design that we credited back to our client because they were part of our kitchen promotion that we were running back in 2024. And the last thing that we included was an appliance package. For this kitchen specifically, we stayed with GE to keep the cost down. And this whole project that we're standing in costs just around $95,000. Let me show you a couple cool features that we did to this kitchen. As you can see, it's nothing over the top. We didn't break the bank on this project, but we did include a couple really, really cool features. So let me show you what we did. Right behind me, you can see that we have 2 faucets. This one's gonna be your dedicated drinking water because here in Newport, Rhode Island, we just don't have the best drinking water that's supplied to us. So we added this beautiful under the cabinet filter. It's gonna take out all of those bad things that you don't want in your water, specifically lead, right? So our customer was really concerned about being able to drink the water right out of the faucet or use it for cooking. So we included this filter that takes all of the bad chemicals and everything out of that. And then as you can see, we also have a disposal, something that's very, very beneficial to have in your kitchen. So as you're prepping and you're peeling, you can prep at your countertop or you can prep over by your sink and you can put your peels and your eggshells all down there, run it through the disposal and get rid of it. So that is definitely a must-have in most kitchens. Another really good feature that we added was this dual fuel stove. It's gonna have the gas cooktop because, well, if you love to cook, you know why. Gas is gonna be the king of utilities when cooking. And then as you open this up, this is actually an electric oven. So that's why it's a dual fuel. It's gonna give you a more uniform cooking experience. While gas can be a little uneven inside an oven, electrical is gonna be the superior cooking form for that. So we upgraded to the GE Profile dual fuel stove on this kitchen. And a couple must-haves are gonna be your dishwasher and an ice maker inside the fridge. As you can see, there's no water on the outside. She didn't want that. That's why we added the faucet. But we do have an ice maker built in. So there's filtered water going right to the fridge, building out that ice ready for your parties, entertainment, and any cool drinks that you need during the summer. So let's talk about some electrical upgrades that we did on this kitchen. As you can see, we added these beautiful light fixtures that our homeowner picked out. I think they're stunning and they match this kitchen beautifully. But a couple really cool features that we focused on as the general contractors here is getting the outlets off of that backsplash. And we actually added these really nice Legrand angled outlets underneath each cabinet. And they meet code because they're GFCI'd. They're run with 2 individual circuits and they're arc faulted. So check with your local building inspector, your local electrical inspector, find out what's code. But here in Rhode Island, they have to be arc faulted and you have to have 2 separate circuits for one kitchen. And a must have in my eyes is gonna be under cab lighting. So you come over here and you flip the switch. We have a low voltage LED strip that runs all along these cabinets. We notched out the frame so that we could fit it nice and flush to the front here, giving it a nice, beautiful tone. Guys, you throw this on the dimmer and you set it down low during the evening and it acts as a beautiful nightlight. So the last upgrade that we did electrically is we updated the general lighting here with reorganizing the recessed lights here and in the living room. All we did in the living room is really change those out for upgraded trims so that they were new and they felt cohesive with the entire remodel. But here in the kitchen, as you can see, we have this beadboard ceiling. This was a trick, right? Because we had this dark stained beadboard ceiling, it's wood. And we had to move these lightings without anybody really knowing. So what we did is we actually stole some of this from above the fridge and from behind these cabinets up here. We cut out little sections of them and we scabbed in because we had to remove the lighting and put it in a new location, giving us really adequate general lighting. So to recap, a couple of different things that you can do when you're talking about your kitchen is talk about your task lighting, which is gonna be your under cab lighting, so that you can see the tasks that you're working on. You're gonna talk about general lighting, and then you're gonna talk about decorative lighting. So 3 different lighting things that you wanna talk about with your contractor. When you're talking about the cost of a kitchen in 2025, you're gonna look at 3 different investments. We're gonna talk about a cosmetic upgrade, which is just replacing your door fronts, giving it a fresh backsplash, maybe painting the cabinets, doing something of that sort. Guys, you're looking at a budget of $30,000 to $70,000, depending on what your cosmetic upgrades look like, because you can include countertops, backsplash, painting, sky's the limit. Now we're gonna talk about a standard kitchen, which is what we're standing in right now. This kitchen cost around $95,000, but it included everything from the appliances to the plumbing fixtures to the actual labor it took to build this thing. So when you're talking about a standard kitchen, I would suggest that you start with a budget of anywhere from $65,000, $75,000 on the low end, and taking that all the way up to $125,000 or more, depending on what options you want in your kitchen. As we mentioned, you can add pullouts, you can add drawer bases, you can add all sorts of custom items without killing yourself on the budget here, but you have to pay attention to what is comfortable for you and see if a standard kitchen fits your needs. The last option that I absolutely love, because I'm a chef myself, is the upgraded luxury type of kitchen. That's where you're talking about the high-end appliances. You're talking about knocking down walls and moving cabinets and changing the feel and layout of your existing kitchen. Of course, that's gonna come with a higher price tag. We're talking anywhere from $100,000 and up. Guys, sky's the limit when you're talking about a kitchen remodel. So if you're looking towards one for yourself and you're local to Rhode Island, I'd love to have a conversation with you. We don't need to be your contractor, but I just love talking to people that are passionate about kitchens. So please reach out. I'm gonna tag my website in the description below, www.remodelinright.com. There's a contact form that you fill out. It automates the whole process so that you and I can have a conversation about the kitchen of your dreams. To top this all off, guys, I wrote a blog about what a kitchen should cost in 2025. We're gonna link it in the description below. Please share that with your friends if you found value. And guys, if you found value in this video, if you actually learned something about this and it excites you about your project, please let me know. Like the video, share it with your friends. And if you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for, guys? Subscribe. Thank you so much. It's Mike from Remodeling Right, and I'll see you on the next one.